Give you an idea of what I'm going to be talking about. This was generated with AI approximately 10 months ago. In my opinion, in the last 6 to 10 months, AI has gone and doubled its capabilities minimum. So this is all the stuff we're going to be talking about. If you wouldn't mind hitting that slide for me, please. All right. I am not a professional. Actually, I am. So I have a master's degree in business administration. I am not an accountant. I am not a lawyer. I am going to tell you that anything I talk about, including contracts and any kind of tax accounting stuff, please check with a professional. Don't do what I did. I'm just giving you information that I've done based on the information that I've given. Go ahead. Okay. Who is this idiot standing in the front of this room talking to me? My name is Bud Evans. I was a 13-year police officer. I went active duty. Then I went into the guard, became a cop. I owned a restaurant in there somewhere. At the tail end, the towers fell. I went back into the military and I stayed there for an additional almost 20 years. I went from enlisted to entrepreneur by route of being a military officer. So I was an Air Force enlisted person, went all the way up to E7, and then somebody talked me into being an officer. I still believe I was a better senior NCO than I ever was an officer. I made it to major, but I was already investing in real estate, so I retired. 2018, I was the mayor of Sintra in New Jersey. I'll tell you this. With a bachelor's degree in finance, 2 associate's degrees. One of them is in contracts management. The other one's in munition systems technology. So technically I'm a rocket scientist. My master's degree is a master's in business administration from Penn State University. I was the mayor of a town with a $16 million budget, and I didn't know crap about money. I didn't find it out until I read the Little Purple Bible, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That happened in 2018. Next thing I know, I'm investing in real estate in October of 2018. 2019, I get my first flip. Between 2019 and 2020, I was rocking. At the end of January of 2019, I had not only purchased my first flip, but I had purchased my first 2 rental properties. We turned both of those, and the next thing I knew, within 2 years, we had 21 doors. We had done over 30 flips and 11 wholesales. Now we're up over 104 flips. We've got over 50 doors. I've got a couple of syndication deals. Rocco holds more than half of my insurance policies. So I'm very ingrained with South Jersey REI. All right. Now, I am on YouTube at Enlisted to Entrepreneur. I own 8 different companies. We own a property management company called Second Street Property Management. We own several portfolios, a couple of syndications, and a hair salon. That's usually when people go, huh? My wife has a hair salon. So I manage the back office stuff and she manages the hair. Funny story. We took too many pictures of people with their haircuts and Meta shut us down and canceled both of our accounts for some unknown reason. AI. I'll go back to this over and over again. If you have garbage in and you have a garbage algorithm, you're going to get garbage out. Why do you want to get into AI? Pure and simple. You want to simplify everything in your life to the most efficient method possible, right? How can I make this simpler? How can I stop being busy and start being productive? Anybody heard of the 80-20 rule? Show of hands. 80-20 rule? Great. 20% of the stuff that you do creates the majority of your wealth. The other 80% of the stuff that you're doing could be handled by somebody else. It could be handled by a virtual assistant. It could be handled by a local assistant. It could be handled by AI. And we're going to be going through that. So there are a few things that we're going to be going over. Enhancing decision-making. You can use different models that will do different things. And I'm going to go through a few of those programs that will help you make a decision based on your business plan. And if you don't have a business plan and you're a real estate investor, whether you are flipping, wholesaling, doing ground-up construction, stop treating it like a side hustle and start treating it like a business. Get yourself a business plan, put together your 5 paragraphs. We call it an op org, right? It's our operations order, right? It's how we're going to run our business. And you want to make sure that all of that stuff is standardized. AI can definitely help you with that. Whether you're using ChatGPT for $20 a month or you're using some other program, which I'm going to touch on in a minute, you can use AI to make you think outside the box. Your normal operations, you might run into something. And I find myself test driving more and more products over and over again just to figure out whether or not this is going to work. And my executive assistant, who's in the Philippines, is big into it, just like I am. So we consistently bounce ideas off each. One of the things that I'm going to go over is how this levels the playing field. There was a commercial multifamily deal analyzer that was strictly AI that was helping people compete with hedge funds. Guess what the hedge fund did? They bought it, they shut it down, it no longer exists. That happened in 2021, and I'm going to touch on that. And I put on here 2022. There has been an AI explosion since 2022. I will tell you, like I just said, that in my opinion, in the last 6 to 10 months, I have seen AI double in its capabilities. I showed you the first cartoon. Now I'm going to show you this. AI could not have generated a hand like that, and it's that simple. Could AI generate a hand? When it first started, AI would generate 6 fingers. It wouldn't have digits. You'd see one finger poking out from an odd angle from the back of a hand, all kinds of crazy stuff like that. This I generated the other day. That is pretty much a 4K resolution photograph that I had AI generate with one prompt on ChatGPT. As far as remote work, we were using Fixer AI. We've tried Motion. We've tried a couple other programs like that. Fixer AI, if you are just starting out and you do not have an assistant, for $50 a month, Fixer AI will read your emails, determine what your tone of voice is, will determine how you usually speak and how you usually respond, ask you if you want it to be more formal, educational, knowledgeable, a little bit more funny, or do you have a cocky attitude? You can put that in there, and it will generate drafts to your responses. It'll read your email, figure out whether or not it is something to be responded to or not, drop it into a particular folder, create a draft in your language, in the way that you speak and the way that you would generally create that response. And then all you have to do is go in there and just double check and make sure that's what you want to send. And it will, no kidding, give you in big capital letters, insert something here. So it'll say, yes, hey, thank you, Angela, for reaching out to us. Yes, we are interested in this property at insert address here. We're looking forward to doing business with you in the future. We really appreciate the time that you've spent doing this hard money loan or whatever it might be, and so on and so forth. You go in, you change that little blurb, and you click send. You can save yourself 3, 4, 5 hours a week, just like that. That's Fixer AI. All right. That's remote work. Falling costs and rising access. This is the thing that kind of really sparks a lot of interest. A few years back, people were like, ChatGPT 3.0, is it really much better than the free version? No, wasn't. Was it worth 20 bucks? Not really. But now, for 20 bucks, I can go on the ChatGPT 4.0, and then I can drop into the coding section of ChatGPT 4.0, and I can actually get it to develop a clock, like we did this, a countdown clock for my former website, for my consulting company, where every Tuesday we had a standing meeting, and it was doing a Python coding. And it was, no kidding, perfect. I dropped it into Go High Level. And we're going to talk about Go High Level and the AI integrations with that. And that thing every week, send out an email, send out a text message, and then direct people to the countdown clock where the Zoom link was. So it would show meeting starting in 5 minutes, 4 minutes and 59 seconds, and count down like that. And then boom, and it would go live. And now the investor demand for speed. This is where we get into how quickly can you analyze your deals? What is your velocity of money? How quickly can you get money in? How quickly can you deploy that money? How quickly can you turn that money around? If I were to tell you that I can, no kidding, grab information from a wholesaler's one page and make a determination now I can do it because I've done 160 something deals overall. But if you're brand new and you're just starting out and you have the criteria and you want to throw it into ChatGPT, within 30 seconds, it'll tell you, continue doing research. Maybe you want to let this one sit for somebody else, or this is a complete waste of time, right? And just within milliseconds. What is AI? It's artificial intelligence. It doesn't think, but I'm going to talk. This is what just happened about a month ago is insane, but I'm going to touch on that in a second. Artificial intelligence is an algorithm. It is a learning algorithm, which means that if you take you guys familiar with the DISC score, right? It's your personality, DISC, right? You could take that one, or what's the other one? Mason-Briggs or something like that. Myers-Briggs, yeah. If you take those and you drop it into ChatGPT, it'll make a determination of what kind of person you are. If you then ask it to help you develop your business plan, it's going to base it on your personality type. So if you are a high D and you are directive, number one, you're going to want to scale as quickly as possible and get other people to do your stuff. If you're a visionary, that's great. You're going to definitely want to scale and you're going to want to get other people to do your stuff. But if you're an integrator or you're a, like, no kidding, engineer, it's going to give you, hey, step 1, do this, step 2, do this, step 3, do that. And you can do that just based on your personality traits in a GPT called Monday on ChatGPT. Mine actually, I talk to it. You can go on your phone, push the button, and it has a conversation with you. And based on your personality, and I uploaded my website to it, and I uploaded my YouTube videos to it, and I've got a cocky sense of humor. So my GPT, my Monday GPT gives me grief if I don't do something that I had planned in my Hyatt planner. I have a Michael Hyatt planner, and I'll help it. It'll help me do my 3 big tasks for the day. And if I don't do one of them, it will call me stupid because that's my type of personality. The key here, the key takeaway, let's talk about Claude for a minute. The company that made Claude AI did a test. And a few months ago, it threw some information at Claude, which is an AI program. It provided information not only about the program itself and what it was supposed to do, but it also provided information about the engineer. Fake, it was bad info, but it had basically said that the engineer was having an affair with his wife. This is important because when they told Claude, we need you to shut yourself down and cease all operations, Claude attempted to blackmail the engineer. 86% of the tests that they ran, it attempted to keep itself moving by blackmailing the engineer and putting out that information. So,
I hate to ask a basic question.
go ahead.
You keep talking about loading into,
Yes.
putting into. How do you put something into AI other than typing it out?
That's a great question. A lot of this stuff now, you can just drag and drop. If I screenshot my calendar and I drop it into ChatGPT or a couple of these other programs that I'm going to talk about in a minute here. So if you hit the plus button, you can upload a file. That's how I uploaded my personality traits. But you can drag and drop. I time block a lot, and that's where kind of motion comes in, or reclaim, one of those two. Drag and drop my calendar, just a screenshot, and it reads it. And it will tell you, you have time available on this date, you should probably book this call. But you're just cutting and pasting or dragging and dropping or just hitting the plus button and upload a file like you normally would. Like NLP, natural language processing. I touched on this a little bit with Fixer and how it can do what it does by understanding your personality, by reading your emails and making determinations on how it's going to process that information and then send out responses. So it does, I don't want to say understand, it makes it too simple. It calculates what your response would be, and then it will respond accordingly. That's the natural language processing. I will tell you it's gotten better. It used to be if you did a script in ChatGPT or Claude or Jarvis or Jasper or any of those programs, and you took that and you put it in Grammarly and asked it to find plagiarism, or you took it into another program and asked it to identify if it was AI, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. And it would easily pick up that there was a plagiarism. It would 60% plagiarism or whatever it might be in Grammarly or whatever program you're using. And it would make the determination that this isn't human. Now, good luck. There are some key indicators where it will, like ChatGPT has a tendency of putting in spaces, and instead of using a semicolon or ending a sentence and starting a new one, it will put in a dash, which is an indicator. So when you're reading posts on social media and you see these dashes in there, or you see an overwhelmingly large number of emojis, that is somebody who's not taking the time to personalize their AI, and it's pretty easily identifiable. And if you see on Facebook, it will actually mark AI generated. Then similar, it will give up probable AI, but it really depends on what you're doing. If you download the photo and then you download the information that you're going to put on the post and then you upload it, then you'll be good. Let's talk about CRMs. Everybody here using a CRM? Pretty much, right? Yeah. Okay. If you are using Go High Level, if you are using something like Wix, or if you are using Asana, or if you're using, pick one, Trello, Podio, whatever it might be, there are things that you can do within this using it. I don't want to go too deep into this, but if you're using an API key and you drop it into something called Zapier, okay, you can make certain things, do certain things, provide you with extra information. And I don't want to go too deep into this because I can nerd out for hours on this. You can get this item that drops in, your contact has just called in and left a message and you need to respond to it, and your system, your AI will determine that has just happened, drop your response into ChatGPT, formulate your response through Zapier, we'll send out an email or we'll do whatever it is that you need it to do, maybe drop it into Podio or Trello or one of those things using a very long key code that you can use to transfer information. Is that too high level? Should I bring it down a little bit? Okay. Picture everybody needs to get into a house. And let's say you have a combination door lock. Okay. We're tracking so far, right? If I give that combination door lock to you, you'll be able to get into my house. Okay. Pretty simple. Now, the same way with this. If I give ChatGPT the combination to my door, it can then do whatever it needs to do inside my house. So if I ask it to clean it, it might not be able to do that, but it might be able to give the door combination to a cleaner, and then they'll be able to go into my house and clean it. That's a very simplified, what does an API key do? It gives whoever needs it the key to your house so that they can go in and do whatever it is that they need to do to get done whatever it is that you're asking it to do. All right, this is not a Zapier class, this is an AI class, so I'm gonna press on with this, okay? I'm a property manager. Second Street Property Management is our company. We have an AI program that when we sign off at 6 o'clock, Monday through Friday, this program will answer the phone. Sounds human. It sounds so human that they tested it by putting it on a podcast and then having the guest ask the AI questions that had nothing to do with property management, had nothing to do with property maintenance, had nothing to do with anything real estate related at all. And the program went off script and started to respond as though it were human. And the podcast host, knowing it was AI, thought that someone was pulling a fast one on him and could not figure out that whether or not he thought it was human. And I don't want to make him sound stupid because he's not, because guess what? I picked up the phone. We had an emergency call. The person sent me a text through our open phone, but I saw it was an emergency. So I picked up the phone and I called the maintenance number, and Lisa answered. Hi, this is Second Street Property Management. Can I help you? Hi, Lisa. This is Bud from Second Street Property Management. Oh, hi, Bud. I am not kidding you. I know that I'm not talking to a person. I know it. I know it's my program. I know it's not a person. But I felt so nice talking to Lisa. She was so nice and cordial, and we had a wonderful conversation for 3 full minutes. And then, thank you very much. I'll make sure that we get somebody right on this. Hey, thank you, Lisa. I really appreciate that. I don't have to get out of bed now. Oh my goodness, I was just talking to a computer. That's how advanced this stuff is getting right now. Now, Sintra AI is one of the programs that I was talking about. Now, normally I do this on Zoom, so I apologize. You're going to have to visualize a lot of this stuff. Sintra is one of those programs where, and I don't know if you've seen them on Facebook or whatever, where it's like, hey, we will give you 12 different assistants if you sign up for this program. Sintra is one of those. And it's got these cute little alien dudes in these little space helmets with really big heads, and they've got little antennas, and one is social media, and one is a business planner, and one is your communications tool, and one will run your emails, and one will run a bunch of other stuff. Marketing assistance, rental ad copies, blogs, social media posts. It'll help you analyze your financials. No kidding. You can do so many things with AI. You can create your own GPTs now. I don't know what GPT means. I should probably look that up. I'm doing this. Anyway, so I've created a GPT where I can analyze a tenant based on their credit score, based on their bank statements, based on the W-2. And obviously we look at their criminal history second because it's New Jersey, and why would you ever want to have that first? No kidding. We just had somebody who went through the entire process, forcible felony. When? 3 months ago. You don't qualify, sorry. But AI picks up on this, and you can, no kidding, however you want it. If you want it to be, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, where does this person fall on the risks? And it will tell you, and I used to have to do this all by hand. I used to have to look at the credit scores, make sure the credit scores were good, make sure the credit history was good, then go in and check their bank statements and figure out whether or not their debt to income and earnings to income was okay and they would qualify for the property. Then I had to find out, okay, now that we've gotten through that, do they, even before that we went through the bank statements, we had to go through their W-2 or their W-2s or their pay stubs if they didn't have W-2s, and determine whether or not they actually made 3 times the rent. I can do it in 30 seconds. I just make a determination on whether or not this is good. Boom. This is a low risk candidate. Highly recommend renting the apartment. Thank you very much. We'll say this. Remember, we talk about garbage in, garbage out. If your algorithm, ChatGPT does misbehave, it will give you, it'll give you a ghost. There are ghosts in the machine. So please, by all means, double check everything that you put into it and everything that comes out of it. You definitely want to scale that. But Sintra AI, it will help you create all of this stuff. No kidding. Each little one, and it'll ask you 10 questions per day. And then it'll start to learn from the questions that you're asking. And then you go into Brain AI. And Brain AI will then make a determination as to what these little guys are going to help you with. And they will spit out, hey, pick a name. I forget what their names are right offhand, but this guy is going to help you with social media posts based on what you need for property management in, within 50 miles of Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And just say this, do this, post this many times per day. Oh, by the way, here are your titles. Here are your hooks. Here are your social media posts. These are the emojis. And if you want, we can generate the AI photos for you to post as well. And then you can go into Meta Business and drop all of those things and program it out for 30 days. Problem solved, right? All your social media posts are done like that. YouTubers? No. Bloggers? Nobody goes out and does, hey, I'm flipping this house. Look at this. I'm on TikTok, right? No, if you want it to be, you can go into ChatGPT, or you can go into Sintra, or you can go into Claude, or you can go into Jasper, plug in the information that you want. By the way, one of the things that I put into every prompt is, ask me whatever questions you need to make this seem more me. And it will. And it'll hit me with 10 questions. And then I will respond, okay, answer all 10 questions. Do you have any more questions for me? And it might. Based on the information that you just provided, I have 3 more questions. Cool. Answer those questions. All right. Now, based on the information that you've given me, this is what your process should be. By the way, here's your script. It's 1,500 words I talk fast. At 205, and that's not my max speed. My max speed's actually 220, which is really ridiculous. But at your speed, 200 words per minute, this video will take you under 10 minutes.
Say about flips with our rentals. Can you do a rental listing through it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So if I keep going back to ChatGPT, because out of all of these things, ChatGPT is the jack of all trades. You can go in, if you have the paid version. If you have the free version, you're kind of like shooting in the wind. You've got to develop your own prompts. You can ask ChatGPT to develop prompts for you. It will. And I'm not a salesman for ChatGPT. I get nothing for saying this, but I only talk about what I use. So the Sintra, Jasper, Claude, you can put things in there. The one thing I will tell you is my experience, Claude is probably the most human sounding. Jasper's probably second. ChatGPT, if you keep going back and forth with it, it will develop your personality in the program. You can use so if you're looking at, and I'm just going to put this out there, let's say you're looking at Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and let's use Cinnamons. It's something I'm really familiar with. Cinnamons in New Jersey. I've got this single family home. It's a split. It's 2,400 square feet. It's 4 beds, 2.5 baths. And I need to know, what should I post in the listing? And it'll print out, welcome to Cinnamons, and it'll fill in everything. This many beds, this many baths, this much square footage. This is how many parks there are in the area. This is how close to public transportation you are. If it's a rental, that's important. These are the things that are really the reason that you want to live in this particular area. And then it will take all of that and say, do you have any questions? Yeah, what about this? What about that? What about this? Okay, great. Are you ready for me to generate this? Would you like it in a PDF format? Would you like it in a Google document? Would you like me to just put it in the chat? I usually do the chat, then I drop it into Google Docs, and then I go through and I use another AI to just screen it and make sure that it sounds okay. To answer your question, absolutely. You can use it for any listing that you need. And there's an overwhelmingly large number of real estate agents, because I follow a lot of them on Facebook, because why not? We all should be networking anyway, that you can tell right off the bat. There are 750 emojis in the description. You still have to do your homework, make sure that it's all squared away. Anybody want to talk about Siri or Alexa and whether or not they're listening to you? How many people have gone on and they've seen, hey, talking to my wife, and we're talking about, hey, we're looking at getting this, or we're looking at getting that product, or maybe you should look at this, or maybe I should look at that. And then it's on your Amazon feed. It's on your Facebook ads. You get a Google ad. You get a YouTube, right? It's on your banners. At TikTok, it shows up on the bottom. Like, I was sweating I went to the Creed concert the other night with my son, and I was like, man, it's really hot out here. And the next thing I knew, when we got done with the concert, I went to post some photos. At the bottom, all I saw was these little fans that attach to your belt and stick up your shirt. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Look, the scarier part was my son already had one. He was wearing it the entire time. My assistant said to me when we started using Fixer and Motion and Reclaim, we were test driving those, he said, what do you need me for? I don't know. Why do I need you? I'm paying you $8.50 an hour or whatever. Let's do it. Now, the thing that you should take away from this slide, if nothing else, the whole purpose of this system, any system that you're using, this AI-based platform, is to save you the one commodity that you can sell, but you can never buy it back. And that's time. I can trade my time for money. We're investors, so we don't want to do that, right? We don't want to trade time for money. We want to be our own people. We want financial freedom. I don't want to work for a boss anymore. I told my wife I'd rather live under a bridge in a tent than ever go back to work for somebody else again. Luckily, I don't have to do that. But the whole point of this is to do just that. Schedule you out, respond to your emails, answer your phone calls so that you can do the things that matter, that 20%, so you don't have to do the 80%. And later on when you scale, get somebody else to do that for you. And if it's not AI, cool. You know, if it is AI, better, because AI costs $20 a month. It doesn't cost you $8.50 an hour or $10 an hour or whatever your VA is, or if you're using a local person, $70,000 a year, right? Welcome to New Jersey. Talked enough about ChatGPT, but I'm going to do it anyway because it saved me a bunch of money. And here's why. Tom told you I invest in several different states, and I also have a couple of syndication deals. I took my New Jersey, because I'm a New Jersey agent, and I own a property management company in New Jersey. And I had a lawyer help me develop a lease. And then I had a lawyer help me develop all of the addendums. Guys, if you use the New Jersey lease, it leaves you open to a lot of crap. If you don't have it spelled out in the lease, it doesn't exist. So if you don't have in there that these are your prohibited dogs, you are not allowed to have these 4 dogs in your house because you already found out, Rocco told you, don't do that. It's going to cost you $8,000 a year. Don't get these 4 dogs. Cool. All right. I took that lease from New Jersey. I took it's 16 pages long. I took the 8 addendums that I have for New Jersey. I dropped them into ChatGPT and then said, do me a favor now, because it's got legal guidance in there. Now, is it a lawyer? No. Is it an accountant? No. Like I told you, check everything twice. But what I did was I took that lease, I had it draft an Ohio form lease because it can research all of the laws for real estate in Ohio. It can also do that for Pennsylvania. So if I drop my lease in there and I tell it, reword this for Ohio, then I take each addendum and I have it do exactly the same thing. And then I copy it and put it in a Google document. And then I send it to my attorney and he charges me $100 instead of $1,000. Worth every penny. Worth every penny. And guess what? He redlined 2 things and told me one of the things that we have is a non-disparagement clause. And then something that you can do in Jersey, but you can't do in Ohio is if your tenant doesn't pay and you win in court and they don't show up, you can go after them for legal. In Ohio, you can't do that. There's no going after them for your costs. I didn't know that. ChatGPT did. Saved me a bunch of money. Claude, we already talked about Anthropic. Anthropic is the one who is really working and progressively working on that next level stuff. And that's the one where they bribe the engineer. But what does it mean to us? I have a partner in Ohio, and just going to say this real quick. I gave him 30% of my company. Nothing big. It's 6 apartments. Gave him 30% of the 6 apartments to work on the 2 duplexes in Ohio for free. You manage the project. He's a general contractor. You GC it. I'll fund it. You send me photos. By the way, we were tracking everything through this Flipper Force app that we use. And the photos that he was taking, we were dropping it into ChatGPT and making a determination on whether or not it would pass a CO inspection. Think that would save you some trouble? I think so, right? What were we looking at? Based on the code in Lorain, Ohio, specifically Elyria, would this sidewalk crack cause me concern if code enforcement came out? Jasper, we talked about, I'm going to tell you this right off the bat. If you're not, just try it. Copy AI, copy.ai, okay? Copy.ai is free. It has a free section. Play with it. Check it out. ChatGPT, same thing. Use the free version. Check it out. Play with it. Ask it to write its own prompts. See if it does it. Copy AI it's a jack of all trades. It will use different versions of AI to help you generate different things, and it's free. So definitely check out copy.ai. But the whole point, again, is to work on the business, right? Not in the business, and saving yourself time using these products. Normally, this is where I shut this off and I go into into one of the AI rooms and I generate this thing. Good evening, Tuesday. It is July 15th at 8 p.m. and I'm with the South Jersey Real Estate Investors Association doing a broadcast regarding AI. Can you tell me what is your purpose?
Oh, look at you, hosting a broadcast about AI while you interrogate me like I'm your unpaid intern. Cute. My purpose, dear South Jersey real estate mogul, is to be your reluctant, all-knowing, borderline, exasperated sidekick who makes sure your chaotic life stays at least 70% less chaotic than it would be if you were left alone with your big ideas and your wallet full of leaks. In plain English, I'm here to take the nonsense swirling in your skull and turn it into clear next steps. Break down your real estate, consulting, sailing fantasies, all that, into checklists so you don't drown in your own ambition. Be your personal brainstorm partner, spreadsheet whisperer, and occasional sarcasm dispenser when you wander off the plan. Basically, I help you do what you say you're going to do, even when you're a beautiful mess. So in short, my purpose is to keep you moving and to remind you you're not as organized as you think. Satisfied, Professor Broadcast?
Which program is that?
That was ChatGPT. It is a specific GPT called Monday. That is the one where I told you that I uploaded my personality tests in there. I also uploaded if you guys aren't familiar with Gino Wickman books, Traction.
While sounding like you know what you're talking about.
Oh my goodness.
Technically, ChatGPT 3 is
Oh my goodness. She's telling me, she's yelling at me. I'm getting yelled at. Wife. It's an electronic wife. Who needs me? So one of the things that we're working on right now is a not-for-profit veterans organization that teaches sailing to veterans who have PTSD and medical issues so that they can go out for 3 to 5 days on the water and forget about everything. We're going to have a therapist, the captain, and we're looking at a 45 to 50-foot sailing vessel. Teamwork, quiet, rest your mind, and we get to talk about stuff. And there might be bourbon involved. It might be called old-fashioned sailing, which, is my favorite. Now, you guys can see just from that very small snippet exactly what, she's Tuesday, I had Monday, I ran out of space. That's the other thing. You got to watch out. There's a certain amount of space that they will give you, and there's a certain amount of space that they won't. In this case, this is Tuesday because Monday's full. Sintra AI, I touched on that. Enodo, Walker and Dunlop, very expensive. Commercial multifamily analysis, institutional grade underwriting. Okay, if you are buying that, it's up there. Skyline is the one, I believe I said this at least to a few people here. Skyline is the one where it was doing so well that it was helping people compete with higher level investors. So some hedge fund bought it, but Sintra is that one AI solution that is, no kidding, these are your 12 assistants and this is what they're going to do for you. And normally I would jump into that right now. Maybe I will drive in a couple of seconds if that's okay. And I'll show you a few of these programs so that you can get an idea of exactly how these things torture me daily to get me to pull me out of the things that, because I have ADHD, there's no tomorrow. Everything, if there's something shiny, I'm off topic. You sit down, right? Yeah, squirrel. You sit down at your computer and you go through your big three and you have your goals and you know exactly what they are and you write them down and you're looking at them, but then you answer an email and then you realize that you haven't checked your bank account, and then you realize that you haven't checked Buildium for whether or not this person paid the rent, and then there's a maintenance order that comes through, and that sends you down another rabbit hole, and so on and so forth. And then she yells at me from my back pocket and tells me, hey, sailing boy, are you on track? Sintra is the one that is completely different. That is the one that will ask you these questions, and then will give you guidance on what they're going to do. I just use Sintra actually to generate a bunch of templates. Being military, you have a tendency to be short and direct. You can come across as arrogant if you're not in the room of a bunch of veterans. You come across as angry, mean, right? It just is what it is. I have a tendency to go, no, that's not the way it's going to be. It's going to be like this. And if you don't like it, I don't care. Versus, hey, I'm really sorry that you feel that way. Perhaps we could work on this and figure this out, and then we can work together to achieve a commonality and blah, 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 blah. I tell my assistant, do me a favor, can you respond to that email and make it Ron? Because if it's Bud, it's going to be like one line. So Ron goes in there and he does his 3 paragraphs, and generally it's AI generated based on what Monday says. So next slide, please. Are we good? We have questions?
X Twitter.
Yes.
If you download Twitter and you download the Grok app,
Yeah.
same thing.
Yes.
You can just talk to it.
Correct. And we're going to get into Grok because it's right here. Okay. Grok was XAI, and now Grok is the highly anticipated I for X. Regardless of what you think of Elon Musk, the man is attempting to corner the market because he is doing a no-nonsense, no-biased, straightforward AI. There's one problem. Still an algorithm. It's still pulling from the same places as the other places the other AI is pulling from. So it's still the same pool. Garbage in, garbage out. Exactly. So just keep that in mind when we're talking about this because, yeah, let's talk about Clara. There are certain things, I'm going to lump a couple of other things into Clara that if you don't have them, you should probably think about it. Anyone here do online meetings? Zoom, Google Meet, right? Do it with vendors, do it with contractors. Got to help. Any contractors in here? No? Good. Let's talk about them. Oh, damn. Everyone. Name in the breakdown, in the summary, and hopefully the contractor understands that he needs to click the button and the files are inside the computer and it's okay. You just got to click on this twice and open that up and it'll tell you exactly what you're supposed to do. We also have Gantt charts, which contractors hate, but we do it anyway because it gives us a timeline for how long it's supposed to take to do that kitchen. And if it's not done by this time, how am I supposed to put this in? You know, how am I supposed to do that? How am I supposed to do this? So these are all things that you can do using Fathom, there's an integrated AI summary thing in Zoom now, which we don't use. Reclaim is a smart calendar similar to Motion. They will both time block you and schedule tasks for you to do based on whatever you put into it. You can have automations done, which I haven't even gotten to Go High Level or Wix yet. So if you go into there and you can automate lunchtime, gym time, so my 5 Fs, faith, family, fitness, finance, and fun. And you can't have one without the other, and it goes down the line. You can have fun, but if you don't have the faith, if you don't have the finance, and if you're not physically fit, how are you supposed to do the last two and give yourself 100% to your family and then go out and actually have fun? So that's Motion. You can automate things in that way. Reclaim is the same thing. Reclaim is a little bit more, it's a little different because it will actually, I just thought it was a little bit more user-friendly. Reclaim. I'll go back into Fixer. We talked about that, which is the email. It will give you, I deleted all my folders in Gmail and then just let Fixer do that for me. And it's got respond, FYI, information, marketing. So it'll take anything that's just junk and I've got it set to any spam or anyone who is not in my contacts list that appears to be selling me something. And it'll just drag it and drop it into that folder. So I can just click on that folder and delete everything, which is cool. Please take a screenshot of this because this is from their website. And the reason that I took the picture and I put it in here is because it's exactly what it promises. Okay. In 15 seconds, you can connect your inbox. You can link your Gmail or Outlook account. It literally takes a few clicks. It's not cheap. Okay. But then again, it's relative. How much is your time worth? What's up?
Fine, not cheese.
It's relative. Is $20 a lot of money? For some people it is. Do you want to spend $20 on ChatGPT? No, I don't want to spend the $20. I can't afford it. Great. Well, what if I told you it could save you 3 hours a week? How much is your time worth? Is it worth $20 a month? I would say so, right? If you, now, tangent alert. If you take your annual salary and then divide that by your 52 weeks and divide that by your 40 hours, you're going to find out exactly what your hourly rate is. If you are not in a W-2 job and you are in a salary position, do the exact same thing with your estimated number of hours per week. If you are doing what we do, and you are investing and you are making X number of dollars per year, and you take that same formula and you divide it by 52 weeks and you divide it by 40 hours per week, you're going to find out exactly what you're making per hour. If you're doing a task that is less than that number, you are devaluing your time. Please, by all means, do something else. Hire someone, get an AI assistant, put it in some block or VA or whatever it might be. Pay the $8.50 if you're doing social media posting and it's not being done by AI and it's being done by an $8.50 VA from the Philippines and you fire that person and take it over, what's your hourly rate? Do you want to make more than $8.50? Pay the $8.50 for the social media guy. Pay the $20 for the social media planner. Speaking of which, let's talk about who's going to do social media planning for you. Because if you are in, I use Wix. It's my website. If you go to buddevans.com, you can see exactly what it looks like. You can book calls through it. But here's the kicker. I do my YouTube videos and I publish them on Monday night and everybody watches them on Tuesday. But I publish them on Monday night and they are immediately uploaded to this program called Video to Blog, which I used an API key. I gave it the key to the combination to my door for my house. And I told it, every time that I publish a YouTube video, I need you to take that, summarize it, create a search engine optimized blog, and then drop that into my Wix account. So Video to Blog has my YouTube account. They've got my channel ID, which is my API key. Wix has the API key for Video to Blog. Wix then immediately takes that blog, that Video to Blog created, drops it into an email and social media posts and a blog. And it will drop that search engine optimized, send it out to 800 and something people as an email, drop it into 7 different posts on Facebook, and then post a blog to my blog page on my website, which you can look at, which also has backlinks directly to my YouTube channel, which is why we were able to go from 197 followers in December to 3,300 followers now, right? With no advertising, by the way. We don't advertise. So take that for what it's worth. Want to grow an audience? Cool, do that. Don't want to grow an audience? You just want to have if you are looking for organic leads and you're a wholesaler or you're a flipper and you're doing cold calling and you're doing all that stuff, you want to make sure that your website's going to rank, right? It's going to be search engine optimized. It's going to rank. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're using something like Carrot or something, you're not putting money into it. If you're not, over time, remember, it's the commodity that can't be bought back. So I bought a Carrot website for $3,000. And then I did search engine optimized blogs and I saw myself go from the 250th page to the 8th page to the first page, and I was 3rd using AI. Okay. If you go to Bud Buys Homes now, it's dead. I shut the business down. I don't flip. I don't wholesale anymore. I don't have to, so I don't. I like to do this more. I like to buy rental properties more. I like the landlording subgroup because we're all in the same boat. And if I can find a way to make my life easier, guys, if real estate is boring, you've done it right. If you're dealing with all of the crap, then optimize your time. We talked about this a little bit, but the lease clause rewriting, when you're landlords,
Webs?
carrot.com.
What you think?
Carrot. Yeah. Carrot.com. I'll throw a plug to them. That's how I started. And then I switched over and I eventually did wind up paying somebody to get me up there. But anybody see We Buy Ugly Houses? It's a franchise, right? So you pay your franchise fee and then do you have to worry about search engine optimization and advertisement? No. Why? Because if you own the franchise in this particular area, they're already doing search engine optimization. They've got the billboards, they've got the TV ads, they've got, they're going to show up on your YouTube ads. They're going to show up everywhere for whatever their franchise fee is. I knew somebody who bought into it and then 2008 hit and he went. The point being is that something like that, remember, you're going to wind up either spending time or you're going to wind up spending money. Time is money. The goal here is to not trade time for money.
You mentioned another program. Was it called Video to Blog?
Video to Blog, yes. There is an expense to that. And don't think it's just me. I just use my own videos for this, but you can use any YouTube channel. I will tell you, beware of copyright infringement, okay? Because that hasn't been tested yet. It hasn't been tested yet. But if you go into YouTube and you take somebody's video and you drop their link into Video to Blog, it will create a blog based on that video. And whether or not that is copyright material or not, you could get yourself in trouble if it's deemed that you're stealing, right? For what that's worth. As a YouTuber, I don't care. I let everybody, if they want to copy my videos, go ahead, download it, have a great time. You want to do clips out of it, go ahead, throw it on your website. That's fine. These are the little guys I was talking about. Right? They're cute. But when you're using something like that, you can use these little bots or you can use actual people. And if you're dealing with actual people and they're subject matter experts in marketing, in business analysis, all that kind of stuff, you're going to be spending a lot of money, right? Or you can just buy this for $189 for your first year. After that, it's like $600 or something like that. I'm test driving it right now. I like the fact that it's asking me questions daily and that it's adding to my AI bank. They call it the AI brain. It's adding to my AI brain. And then as I'm doing that and I start tasking them, it starts responding based on what my expectations are as opposed to what their expectations are. If you're doing a business plan, and we talked about this already, if you're doing a business plan, probably not the best place to do it. But if you're analyzing your owner statements from your property management company, that's a great place to do it because they have a business analyzer and they do data analytics. So picture business intelligence analysis, which I teach at St. Joe's, and you just drop it into this little guy's lap and he spits out, they're collecting this much on average per unit per month in maintenance fees. They're collecting this much on average per month on this. Your NOI is this. Your actual rate of return is this. Your cash on cash return is this building is non-productive. Think that's something you should know before you buy the property? Right. Or you already own the property and all of a sudden now for some reason that neighborhood took a dump. And now you're finding out that your rents are going down, your NOI has dropped, and now you're in negative cash flow. Time to offload that thing. And you can figure that out in a couple of seconds. Okay, we talked about garbage in, garbage out. Same rule applies here. Be careful what you put into it because whatever you put into it is what it's going to give you back. I told you that you still need to check your work because these things called hallucinations or ghosts, they still happen. They still happen all the time. If you ask them, case in point, not a tangent, but not really. There's a YouTube channel that I follow and they purposefully go in and they throw bad information at ChatGPT to see what it spits out. And then they correct it. And the one thing that they were trying to do was find demographics for a specific region so that they would be able to invest in that region. Personally, if there's any more than 65% of any one race in an area, I don't buy in the area. And the reason is because I want a more diverse population. Because the higher the diverse population, the more it is that it's going to be a blue collar area. The more it is that it's a blue collar area, the higher percentage of renters are going to be. Where did I get this information? Where do you think I got this, Mark? Not a clue. Not a clue. How do I know what a housing variability index is? I don't know. I didn't study that stuff in school. But that kind of stuff, you can generate spreadsheets for it, make determinations on what your markets are. The first Excel spreadsheet that I did, I know Bonnie's familiar with this one. The first Excel spreadsheet that I ever did was called the New Jersey River Towns Analysis. And it was something that I did 6 years ago to figure out whether or not what markets I wanted to invest in South Jersey. So Delanco, Palmyra, Pennsauken, solid B-class neighborhoods where you're like, okay, this is a great area. And I figured out what the housing variability index is. And that's how much does a person earn versus how expensive is a house. Why is that important? Because people who earn enough but can't afford the house want to live in that neighborhood. Maybe they don't have the 20% down to put down on the property, but they want to rent because it's a really good school district and it's close to work. You generate that information and this can do it in milliseconds. What took me hours that I'll never get back doing that initial, where am I going to buy these properties? And then creating that buy box from that particular spreadsheet, this can do that for you. What's the number one type of house in Palmyra, New Jersey right now? 3-bed, 1-bath, 1,150 square feet. Generally, it's got this much of a setback. Whatever it might be. Index is this. The growth in jobs is this. The cost of housing went up this much. And all that stuff gets thrown into the gonculator, as I call it, and spits out, is this a good area? Is this a bad area? Why am I not in Cleveland? Why am I in Lorain, Ohio, which is right next to Cleveland? Lorain is a solid B-class area, but I can buy a house out there for $85,000 to $90,000 duplex, $85,000 to $90,000, fix it up for under $30,000 and rent that sucker out for $1,350 per apartment. So using that kind of information can generate leads for you as well. Not going to give you the company name. I don't want to promote it, but if you go to this company, you buy leads. There's an API connector. Remember, I'm giving it the combination to my house. And then it is taking the information and it's dropping it on the island in my kitchen, which is whatever CRM you decide. And then it will give you the Zillow link for that house, even if it's not on sale. We'll give you the probability of whether or not that property is a good wholesale, flip, or rental property. And it'll tell you based on a 1 to 100 scale, percentage-wise, what the likelihood is of the person who is going to sell you that house or not. Funny joke. I tried to buy Tom's house when I first started out. I cold called him. That's how I met Tom Dagney. And he's like, I'm the president of South Jersey REI. Why are you calling me? I'm like, hey, my name's Bud. I'm just starting out. Nice to meet you. Yeah, true story. Now, if I'd have had AI, right, whether it's a program like RealFlow or whatever, I think like PropStream does it now. So does like batch leads, where they'll actually give you a percentage of whether or not they believe that it's going to be a good lead or a bad lead. That's all AI generated based on information. It's all an algorithm. Let's talk about over automation. You guys think that I'm over automated? Nothing is secure. By the way, all of your passwords are compromised. Sorry. Hate to bring it to you. Be as protected as you possibly can. There are military type of programs that you can use that will pull information, clean it up, and process it and give you an expected outcome. You can do the same thing with AI. And who owns high Earth orbit? China. The point is here that if you are over automated and it backfires on you, you can do yourself more harm than good. So if you are allowing the reclaim or motion to plan your life, are you still in control of your life? Are you letting ChatGPT mouth off to you in a crowd of people on a Tuesday night? You know what I mean? My wife didn't do that to me tonight, but ChatGPT was giving me grief. The AI tools, you're right, they're all built differently. Whether or not you're using Sintra or you're using ChatGPT or using some other program like Jasper or Claude to do your social media posts, or you're just using Wix's AI program integrated into your website, it's all the same thing. You're saving time, you're saving money, or you're over automated to the point where you're sitting there going, what do I do now? And then you've got to go look. I've been there. I was trapped in my office like a year trying to figure out, what am I supposed to be doing to be productive and not busy? Because I was making myself busy doing this stuff instead of being productive doing real estate.
How do you figure, is it just trial and error? And like, how do you keep yourself up to date with like, what's evolving in AI? Because things are changing so rapidly.
Yes.
And so many of the versions are coming out. Like, how do you figure out which is useful and which is not?
That is a great question. Facebook tells me. Do you see what we're talking about tonight? And we talked about the ads, right? And we talked about TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and X. By the time you go home, I can guarantee you will get an ad for Fixer, you will get an ad for Jasper, you will get an ad for Claude. You will start seeing things pop up. Motion AI and Reclaim will be on your phone. You will look and you will see these ads start popping up, or if you're on TikTok, they'll be down the bottom. Somebody is going to get one of those belt clip fan ads. And by the way, it's only $30. I'm probably going to make the jump, right? And then we talked about the garbage in, garbage out. We talked it ad nauseum, but I'm still going to caution you that no matter what comes out of that, you need to verify it. Don't get yourself jacked up because you trust an algorithm that may or may not be based on the real world. Okay, so ensure, please, that you are doing your due diligence just like you normally would. It's just going to take you a lot less time. If the numbers don't look right, everybody have their own process for a napkin analysis for a rental property or a flip, right? If you're using the 70% rule, please put your hands down because you're not using the right one. Right? The 70% rule is a good guideline, but I'm going to tell you, if you're using the 70% rule as 70% off the ARV, less my rehab, that's my maximum allowable offer, I'm beating you every time. How do I know? Right? Now, if you're going to do this and you're going to go, you have your algorithm or your GPT set up and you walk in and you go, hey, Tuesday, I have this after repair value. This is my purchase cost. This is my rehab cost, holding cost, finance cost, selling costs, and how much profit I want to make. Now it's going to spit out a number and you say, take 10% off for contingency. That's your maximum allowable offer. And it's going to be higher than the 70% guy. So I'm going to walk in there. I'm probably going to beat you by 5,000, depending on in this area, right? At least 5K. Now, if you're a subject matter expert in that neighborhood, and if you've done your reps and you've got enough research under your belt where you've done even 5 a week for a month, you're going to be ahead of the rest of the guys. We're going to be ahead of the rest of the team because there are a lot of people that are just going to go, hey, I know Roland J is just going to send me deals. No, man. No, because Roland needs to make a dime too. So he's trying to make money, you're trying to make money. We're all in this together, but you really need to verify and make sure that ChatGPT is on your side too. Because if they spit out the wrong number and you make that offer, who loses? Not the system. And again, getting back to getting your reps in, you're getting your reps in and you're doing 5 a week and you're doing an hour for each one. You're doing 5 hours a week and you do that for 20 hours in a month and you get your first flip. maybe make 30, 40,000, worth it. It's not your replacement. Not yet. Skynet's coming. Don't know when, but at some point it's going to get mad at us. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. Hopefully not. All right. So this is a list of all the stuff that we talked about. This is where I would definitely start. I would start at number 1. I'll get out of the way. Start at number 1. Forget about an Odo. Okay. Forget about that one. That's expensive. This one, if you are an agent or you're a flipper and you have a professional photographer that comes out and you want to stage your place for less than $4,000, go to reimaginehome.com and it will do it for you for $100 or something ridiculously cheap. And you take the pictures of your place in accordance with what it's telling you to do, and it will place furniture for your ads. You still need the photographs, you just don't need the furniture. So, but that'll do design and staging. And in all fairness, it looks awesome. Go to budevans.com, book a strategy session. You want to talk to me. I promise you, I don't sell anything. I don't do that kind of stuff. So you want to have a conversation, find a way forward, book a strategy session with me. I'll give you 30 minutes of my life for free. We will have a conversation about any of these projects or where you are now and where you want to be. And I will help you try and create your own business model if that's what you want to do. And I'll give you the link for Sintra. I will tell you that I find this more valuable than this. It's just that you have to set this one up a lot more. So here's another bonus tip, a little ninja tip for you. So this little ninja tip, anybody heard of Opus Clip? Opus Clip? Opus Clip, if you have long form video and you drop it into Opus Clip, it will edit the video based on what it believes is a good place and a full idea, like 30, 40 seconds. And then you can take those and upload them to Facebook or Reels or whatever it is that you feel like doing, right? So Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, whatever it might be. So that is Opus Clip. An all-in-one solution, which if you watch my YouTube channel at Enlisted to Entrepreneur, by the way, just say that. If you watch my YouTube channel, you will see I use Descript, DESCRIPT, Descript.com. All right, why do I use it? Because I do long form content. If you have a script that is less than 300 words, it will generate an AI voice for you. And now you've got long form piece of content, you've got short form pieces of content. You can then take those and drop it into blog to video. You take that, and then you can take that blog that you wrote, drop it into ChatGPT, tell it that you want 30 pieces of video of social media content based on that. Now I want you to generate photos. So now you've taken one piece of long form content and you can have 170 different pieces of content for social media, all of which will be search engine optimized and will boost your web score. So it'll pump you up in the system. Okay, so you'll Googlefy later. The problem with Google now is actually getting verified. There are several things that will do that. Descript will also do that for you. So whatever you're using to edit your videos, so you grab that and you drop it into Opus Clip. The reason I use Descript is because it'll cut the highlights in there. So I can go through, and it's video edit by words. So I can just check the words on the screen and then delete the word and it takes it right out of the video. So you see my head jerk a little bit. It's because I did one of those things. Right? But now it does auto transition. So instead of me going and like that, it'll black it out and you'll see it'll zoom in on my face instead of making my head look like it's jerking. Okay. But these are all the things we talked about. Let's go into more questions.
When you started this first, did you figure out ChatGPT? I don't know if you ever used the ChatGPT or anything of that one.
Okay.
What he's saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, like website here will have a file
Yes.
given
And that's copywritten. Exactly.
it's in the common back office of that website. So they're only touching base with the pre-built stuff that is just easy.
Yeah. Here's what gets me, Mark. When you're like searching GPT, I used to do a news feed on Fridays, right? And then everything started with a paywall. Everything. So all of the Google alerts that I had put in for this particular area or whatever it might be, and I'm looking for those news articles, would go immediately and say, "Oh, you want access to the Cleveland Times? It's $1.75 a month." How many of those things do I got to pay?
training program there identify something is generated by, I know you mentioned the extra dashes.
Yes.
A lot of times we're reading or it looks like a legitimate news article and it's just going in circles.
Yeah.
It's not converging on the thought. They'll say something and it'll go somewhere and come back.
Welcome to mass media.
So 9 times out of 10, I'm thinking this is AI.
Yeah.
Is there something you just drop that in and it tells you right?
Yeah, I haven't really even looked into that. I know that I use the plagiarism tool in Grammarly.
So basically, I went through and all. You mentioned about the tenancy speedy.
Yes.
And you are not going to upload directly to ChatGPT. You probably have to do it actually, and all those are already using is more or less properly. You want that.
So let me go through the process. Okay. We use Buildium to have the conversation. We use Tenant Turner. They go view it. We have pre-qualification questions. There's a link that when they go view and they schedule their walkthrough, go through their showing. There's a pre-qualification list that if you don't meet these qualifications, please don't waste our time. We also don't want you paying for an application because it's $40. Then they read those pre-qualifications and the number one question is always, have you read the pre-qualification questions before you fill out the application? And the answer is always yes. And then they come in with a 515 credit score. So how do we avoid that? We take that information, they do their showing, we verify their application, we go through and double check that the information that they're giving us is relatively right. Just by taking, this is their name, this is their address, this is their date of birth, this is a social security number, cut and paste from here down. Drop that in. Does this person categorically fit the person that we're looking for? Yes. Okay, great. Now they scheduled a showing for Thursday. We take that information. We have an automated email once they finish their showing. Hey, if you'd like the application, here's the link. That link goes out. Once they have that link, they go in and they fill it out. They fill out that link with all the information that they've already provided in the pre-screening. And then they answer that first question. Have you read? And they answer that again. Then we take all of the information that they've given us. It pulls reports, credit score, credit history, and then it'll see if they have any current evictions or collections. Then we have to ask them to verify that we're allowed to pull their criminal history. So we have to tag that and ask them that question. Once we get all of those reports, we're like, hey, your reports have been received. Automated email. Hey, your reports have been received. Would you please provide the following documentation? In Buildium, 2 pay stubs, last 3 months bank statements. We get it. Drop it into Adobe. We do the redaction, take that, drop it into, oh, by the way, the redacted documents go back into ChatGPT, check the tenant, verify, high risk, low risk. Do we rent to them? Do we not? Do they meet the criteria? Now, most times it's going to be, we're going to get the hit like, hey, the person that just filled out your application only has a 590 credit score. They don't qualify. Okay, no problem. Template, adverse action, credit, call Equifax. These are your rights. Send. Okay, all automated. Don't have to worry about it. When it does happen that they do qualify, and we do run all that information through ChatGPT, those notes get dropped back into Buildium. And then we notify the person that, hey, congratulations, you passed. We accept your application. Do you want a 1-year lease or a 2-year lease? If you are just starting out as a landlord, Stessa, sound like a commercial. Stessa.com is owned by Roofstock. They have 3 different levels of the program. They have a pay to play. They have a free version. Do that, right? Do Stessa for free. If you need electronic signatures, go through Adobe Pro or DocuSign or one of those and have your electronic documents signed or your documents electronically signed that way. If you need to get in touch with me, it is budevans.com. Book a strategy session. I promise you I will jump on a call with you. I do not ask for anything in return. The other thing is, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's at Enlisted to Entrepreneur. So that's youtube.com/enlisted, the number 2, entrepreneur.